Lights on in there? Radhe Radhe Dandava Pranam. Welcome to Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinama Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Dandava Pranam, all Vaishnavas. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Gucha, Bandeham Shri Guru. Mangalacharan means auspicious invocation. So we will be invoking or calling upon all of the divine personalities, beginning with our own Gurudev and all of the gurus in Guru Parampara, going back to the original Guru, who is Krishna, and his Prem Guru, Srimati Radhika. We will be calling upon all of them for their mercy, their grace, and their presence. That is Mangalacharan. Let me just make sure that this is off and Facebook is on. Mandeham Shri Guru Shri Dāmodarāṣṭakam Shri Guru Vaishnavaścha Shri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamshcha Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnanam Jnana Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Odarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Nārayanam Tvam Shirasham Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padāvjataikavini Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasa Nārayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyāna Keshava Niti Namine Patimartyat Charitraya Svashritananshapāline Jīvadūte Sagartaya Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanami Devi दयिताय कृपाभये कृष्ण सम्बन्ध विज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदान श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनकारिणे रूपानुगम्यनिरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तद्वन्द्वहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भर सम्बुधे पदम्बुजलये नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगम्यरायते। गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्तो राधाकान्तो नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतो पङ्गुर्मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोज राधामदनमोहनो। दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीरघुवृन्ददेव प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवद्दत्ततस्थितः हर्षन्वेणुस्मरैर्गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः। वृन्दायै तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृन्द। चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यामधुजीवनम्। आनन्दं मुनिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्। हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं खलु नास्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। That is page 360. And if you do not have a songbook, Jiva Pavana Prabhu very kindly posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there you will find the bhajans, along with their translations, and generally followed by beautiful commentaries from our acharyas. Thank you, Prabhu, and Dandavat Pranam. And to all the devotees who are present with us already, Dandavat Pranam to all of you. 360, 370. Gurudev kripa karke. It does not say who it's by. It's by one of the disciples of Srila Gurudev, and Srila Gurudev accepted it as a direct call to his own heart. So we use this bhajan also to call and connect to Srila Gurudev. Gurudev, not 370, 360 Isha. 60, 70, 60, I don't know. Okay. Gurudev, kripa करके मुझको अपना लेना गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना मैं शरण परा चरणों में जगा देना मैं शरण परा तेरी चरणों में जगा देना चरणों में जगा देना चरणों मुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो, मुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो, नित्य माला जपूं तेरी, मेरे दोष भुला देना, नित्य माला जपूं तेरी, मेरे दोष भुला देना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना, गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। मैं संतों का सेवक हूँ, गुरु चरणों का दास हूँ, मैं संतों का सेवक हूँ, गुरु चरणों का दास हूँ, नहीं नाथ भुलाना मुझे, इस जग में अकेला हूँ, नहीं नाथ भुलाना मुझे, इस जग में अकेला हूँ, इस जग में अकेला हूँ, इस जग में अकेला हूँ, तेरे द्वार का भिखारी हूँ, नहीं दिल से भुला देना, तेरे द्वार का भिखारी हूँ, नहीं दिल से भुला देना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना, गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव, 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 जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद। गुरु परंपरा, 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 गुरु परंपरा। श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय। Isha, how do you say 60 in Italian? Because I said the wrong number. I said 370. I meant to say 360. Is it 60? 16. I didn't say 16. 60. 60. 60. No, I said 370 and she heard 370. 60. Okay. 60. Okay. Dayal Hari Prabhu ki jai ho. See, now the Italians are coming in to fix the issue here. Thank you. Molto fortunate. You notice I had to do that motion when I said that. What? Dayal Hari. Okay, now we're going to call for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Page 46, Sakala Vaishnava Goshai. Daya Kor More by Śrī Radha Mohan Das. 46. 46. Yes? Sakala Vaishnava Goshai. Sakala Vaishnava Goshai. Doya koro more. Dante trino dhori kohe. Edino pamare. Sakala Vaishnava Goshai. Doya koro more. Dante trino dhori kohe. Edino pamare. Shri Guru Charanoya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Guru Charanoya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Pada Padma Pavaya. More Koro Dhanya. Pada Padma Pavaya. More Koro Dhanya. Toma sabar karuna bine. Iha prapina. Toma sabar karuna bine. Iha prapina. Nisheshe ajogya. Kohilo nishta. Nisheshe ajogya. Kohilo nishta. Vancha kalpataruha. Karuna sagar. Vancha kalpataruha. Karuna sagar. Eto bharasa dhoriye antara. Eto bharasa dhoriye antara. Gunalesho nahi moro aparadher sima. Gunalesho nahi moro আলোকে দেখাও মহিমা আমায় উধারি আলোকে দেখাও মহিমা নাম সংকীর্তন রুচি আর প্রেম ধাম নাম সংকীর্তন রুচি আর প্রেম ধাম হে রাধা মোহনে দেহ হইয়াস করুণা হে রাধা মোহনে দেহ হইয়াস করুণা সকল বৈষ্ণব গোসাই দয়া করো মোরে দন্তে তৃণধরি গোহে দীন পামরে সকল বৈষ্ণব গোসাই দয়া করো মোরে দন্তে তৃণধরি গোহে দীন পামরে বৈষ্ণব গোসাই জয় বৈষ্ণব গোসাই বৈষ্ণব গোসাই জয় বৈষ্ণব গোসাই বৈষ্ণব গোসাই বৈষ্ণব গোসাই বৈষ্ণব গোসাই জয় বৈষ্ণব গোসাই প্রভু কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া করো প্রভু কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া করো প্রভু কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া করো কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া করো all Vaishnava Thakurs ki jai. Please forgive me. It's difficult to sing and then lead the repeat as well without breathing much. But also I've been where they are painting today with lots of fumes. So unfortunately my choked upness has nothing to do with bhakti bhav or prem. It has to do with paint fumes. But one sweet day, maybe, hopefully, while chanting the holy names of the Lord, tears will flow from my eyes. For the right reason. Now we will call out to Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī Pad for his mercy. Govinda Rupini Didi ki jai. Dandavat pranam. Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chitera Vikar by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, page 48. 48. Śrī Rupa Gosvāmī Pad ki jai, Sanātana Gosvāmī Pad ki jai, Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmī Prabhu ki jai. Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chitera Vikaro Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chitera Vikaro Amar Hridoye Bhoga Ore Aniva Amar Hridoye Bhoga Ore Aniva Gato je jatono yami Hori namo শেষে প্রাণ যায় না গেল বিকার বুদ্ধি শেষে প্রাণ যায় এ ঘোর বিকার মোরে করিল স্থির এ ঘোর বিকার মোরে করিল স্থির শান্তি না পাইল স্থান অন্তর ধীর শান্তি না পাইল স্থান অন্তর ধীর শ্রীরূপ গোস্বামী মোরে কৃপা ভিতরিয়া শ্রীরূপ গোস্বামী মোরে কৃপা ভিতরিয়া উদ্ধারিবে কবে যুক্ত বৈরাগ্যর পিয়া উদ্ধারিবে কবে যুক্ত বৈরাগ্যর পিয়া কবে সনাতন মোরে ছাড়ায়ে বিশ্ব কবে সনাতন মোরে ছাড়ায়ে বিশ্ব নিত্যানন্দে সমর্পিবে হইয়া নিত্যানন্দে সমর্পিবে হইয়া শ্রীজীব গোস্বামী কবে সিদ্ধান্ত শোনিলে শ্রীজীব গোস্বামী কবে সিদ্ধান্ত শোনিলে নিভাইবে তার কানন চিত্ত যাহে জলে নিভাইবে তার কানন চিত্ত যাহে জলে শ্রী চৈতন্য নাম শুনে উদিবে পুলক শ্রী চৈতন্য নাম শুনে উদিবে পুলক রাধা কৃষ্ণ মৃত পানে হইব শোক রাধা কৃষ্ণ মৃত পানে হইব শোক কাঙ্গালেরো সুকাঙ্গাল দুর্জন এ জন Gosvāmī Prabhu ki jai, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī Pad ki jai, Śrī Sat Gosvāmī Prabhu ki jai. Remind me before the end of today, the publishing group, Srila Gurudev's publishing group, I believe it's GVP because Vaijantimala, Sulata, Anita, and those who are involved in publishing Srila Gurudev's books are endeavoring to publish a collection of beautiful articles by so many of our acharyas, and included within that different sections. It's going to be like a Vyas Puja offering for Srila Gurudev, which is coming up soon, and they need, I think, a total of $2,000 to publish the whole thing. So I'll give you some information, and if you know anyone or if you yourself would like to give anything for the publication of that, even $1 or £1 or €1 or a rupee, then we will give you the information. It's not for me. Don't put it to me. I'm going to give you all of their information later. So just remind me. Because publications glorifying Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and also sharing their teachings, and especially for Srila Gurudev's Vyas Puja, these publications are well thought out and quite beautiful and important. So I just thought I would offer you that opportunity to share with your friends and also to consider yourselves. Okay, so now we're going to call out to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Sudevi, do you want to pick it? Which one? Yes, so we'll do that one afterward. Nitai Gunamani Amar, Nitai Gunamani, page 61. Srila Govinda Mahārāja, Tum. Did I see Nārāyaṇa ashram there? Dandavat Pranam, Radhe Radhe. Nitai Gunamani Amar by Sri Locham Das Thakur, page 61. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakto Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakto Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृन्द निताय गुणमणियामा निताय गुणमणि निताय गुणमणियामा निताय गुणमणि आनिया प्रेमेरो वन्या भाषैलो आनिया प्रेमेरो वन्या भाषैलो प्रेमेर वन्या यानिता देशे प्रेमेर वन्द्यानो यानिता अय्यो गौरो देशे भूमिलो भक्तगणो हीनो हीनो भाषे भूमिलो भक्तगणो हीनो हीनो भाषे हीनो हीनो पतितपा मोरो नाहि वाछे हीनो हीनो पतितपा मारो नाहि वाछे ब्रह्मारो दुर्लभ प्रेम सवाकारे जाचे ब्रह्मारो दुर्लभ प्रेम सवाकारे जाचे आबध करुणा सिंधु कातियाहु आबध करुणा सिंधु कातियाहु हानु घरे घरे भूले प्रेम अमियारो घरे घरे भूले प्रेम लोचन बोले मोर निताय जेबाना भजियो लोचन बोले मोर निताय जेबाना भजियो जानिया शुनिया से आत्मघाती होइलो जानिया शुनिया से आत्मघाती होइलो निताय गुणमणियामा निताय गुणमणि निताय गुणमणियामा निताय गुणमणि आनिया प्रेमेरो वन्या भाषैलो यमनि गोविंद प्रभु की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. I think Taruni just joined. Lilavati, Radhe Radhe. Long time no see. Okay, Prabhu he emona durmati samsara bhitore oryayachinu ami. Page 66 by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Should be Darbari. प्रभु है I know, and I don't even know if that's the right so we're just going to leave that out. प्रभु है एमोना दुर्मति. I'm going to go higher than that. प्रभु है एमोना दुर्मति संसारो भीतरे परियायाचिनु आमी. प्रभु है एमन दुर्मति संसारो भीतरे परियायाचिनु आमी. तब निज कोन महाजने हथाइया दिले तब निज कोन महाजने हताइया दिले एमन दुर्मति संसारो भीतरे परियायाचिनु आमी. प्रभु हे एमन दुर्मति संसारो भीतरे परियायाचिनु आमी. दया करि मोरे पतित देखिया कहिलो आमारे गिया. दया करि मोरे पतित देखिया कहिलो आमारे गिया. ओहे दिन जन शुनो भालो कथा হে দীনজন শুনো ভালো কথা উলসিত হবে ইয়া উলসিত হবে ইয়া প্রভু হে এ মন দুর্মতি সংসার ভিতরে হরিয়াছি আমি প্রভু হে এ মন দুর্মতি সংসার ভিতরে হরিয়াছি আমি তোমারে তারিতে শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য নবদ্বীপে অবতারো তোমারে তারিতে শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য নবদ্বীপে অবতারো তোমাহেন কত দিনহীন জানে তোমাহেন কত দিনহীন জানে করিলেন ভব পার করিলেন ভব পার বেদের প্রতিজ্ঞা রাখিবার তরে রুক্মবর্ণ বিপ্রসূত বেদের প্রতিজ্ঞা রাখিবার তরে রুক্মবর্ণ বিপ্রসূত মহাপ্রভু নামে নদিয়া মাতায় মহাপ্রভু নামে নদিয়া মাতায় সঙ্গে ভাই অবধূত সঙ্গে ভাই অবধূত নন্দ সুতজি চৈতন্য গোসাই নিজ নাম করি দারো নন্দ সুতজি চৈতন্য গোসাই নিজ নাম করি দানো তারিল জগত তুমিও যাইয়া তারিল জগত তুমিও যাইয়া লোহরি পরিত্রাণ লোহরি পরিত্রাণ সে কথা শুনিয়া আসিয়াছি না তোমারো চরণ তলে সে কথা শুনিয়া আসিয়াছি না তোমারো চরণ তলে ভক্তি বিনোদ কাঁদিও কাঁদিয়া ভক্তি বিনোদ কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া আপন কাহিনী বলে আপন কাহিনী বলে প্রভু এ মন দুর্মতি সংসার ভিতরে করিয়াছি প্রভু এ মন দুর্মতি সংসার ভিতরে করিয়াছি জয় সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি জয় সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি গৌর হে গৌর হে গৌর হে গৌর হে গৌর হে গৌর হে Śrī Satyavrata Muni ki jai. And if something felt wrong with the ending there, and that was because I went back to Emona Durmati Sangsara Bhitare Poriya Achinu Ami. Emona Durmati means I am very wicked and low. Sangsara Bhitare means I have basically fallen into this sangsar. And Poriya Achinu Ami, it's all of the negative stuff. So we got to end always with positive. Of course, Jai Sachinandan, Jai Gaura Hari is the positive, but we shouldn't end on the down part. We should always end on the hopeful part. So that I should have sung Tava Nija Jan Kono Mahajane Pathaya Dire Tumi. You have sent an exalted soul, one of your own associates, to save me. That would have been appropriate. We should not end on the low note. We should always end on the hopeful high note. Gurudev would always say, Madhurena Samarpayet. I think it means all is well that ends sweetly. But he didn't like when we just ended any kirtan on a sad note. He would always go like this, and it would mean it's time to finish, but with something like Hari Bol, uplifting. Sorry, I'm looking for a particular Krishna bhajan and I don't know which one it is yet. So, what? Jaya Jaya Harinam Chidanandam Mritadham Paratattva Akshara Akar. It's glorifying Harinam by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Jaya Jaya Harinam. 178. If you do not have the songbook, Jiva Pavana Prabhu very kindly posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. Based on the second verse of Shri Krishna Namashtakam by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Jayo Jayo Harinam Chidanando Mritadham. Jayo Jayo Harinam Chidanando Mritadham. Paratattvam yaksharo Aksharo Yakaro কৃপা করি নাম রূপে অবতারি নিজ জনে কৃপা করি নাম রূপে অবতারি জীবে দয়া করিলে আপার জীবে দয়া করিলে আপার জয় হরি কৃষ্ণ নাম জগ জন সুবিশ্রাম জয় হরি কৃষ্ণ নাম জগ জন সুবিশ্রাম সর্বজন মানস রঞ্জন সর্বজন মানস রঞ্জন মুনি বৃন্দ নিরন্তর যে নামেরো সমাদর মুনি বৃন্দ নিরন্তর যে নামেরো সমাদর হরি গায় হরি আবদর হরি গায় হরি আবদর ও হে কৃষ্ণ নামাক্ষর তুমি সর্বশক্তিধর ও হে কৃষ্ণ নামাক্ষর তুমি সর্বশক্তিধর জীবের কল্যাণ ভিতরে জীবের কল্যাণ ভিতরে জীবের কল্যাণ ভিতরে জীবের কল্যাণ ভিতরে তোমা বিনা ভব সিন্ধু উদ্ধারিতে নাহি বন্ধু তোমা বিনা ভাব সিন্ধু উদ্ধারিতে নাহি বন্ধু আসিয়াছো জীব উদ্ধারণে বসিয়াছো জীব আছে তাপ জীবে যত তুমি সব করো হত আছে তাপ জীবে যত তুমি সব করো হত হেলায় তোমারে হেলায় তোমারে রাখে যদি কোন জন হয়ে দীনয় কিঞ্চন রাখে যদি কোন জন হয়ে দীন কিঞ্চন নাহি দেখি অন্য প্রতিকার নাহি দেখি অন্য প্রতিকার তব স্বল্প স্ফূর্তি পায় উগ্র তাপ দূরে যায় তব স্বল্প স্ফূর্তি পায় উগ্র তাপ দূরে যায় লিঙ্গ ভঙ্গ হইয়া অনায়াসে লিঙ্গ ভঙ্গ হইয়া অনায়াসে ভক্তি বিনোদক জয় হরি নাম জয় ভক্তি বিনোদক জয় হরি নাম জয় পরে থাকি তুয়া পদয়াসে পরে থাকি তুয়া পদ Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Shri Harinam Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki Jai. So there's one mistake I made in this bhajan. I'm sure I made many, but one that it was quite clear to me. And it's a very common mistake that I make, and I know a lot of others make. And so if we're aware of it, then we can at least endeavor to not make that mistake. And that's the word bhava versus bhava. Bhava is like Bhava Sindhu, the ocean of nescience, the ocean of material existence, the blazing ocean of oil. That is Bhava. And Bhav is transcendental loving sentiments or serving moods. So when you say Toma Bina Bhava Sindhu, that's the third verse. Without you, how can I be delivered from this ocean of nescience or ocean of material existence? But if you're saying Bhava Sindhu, then without you, how can I be freed from the ocean of Bhav? So actually we want to attain an ocean of Bhav. That is our goal of all of our sadhana. The goal of our current stage of sadhana should be to attain Bhava Bhakti. And the goal of Bhav is to attain Prema Bhakti. So Kriti Sadhya Bhavet Sadhya Bhava Sa Sadhana Bida. So it's very common. Also, there's another bhajan. What is it? Madhava Bahuti Minati Koritoy. And there also, it says Bhava Sindhu. And also Kejabi Kejabire Bhai Bhava Sindhu Pad. So it should be Bhava, not Bhava, because there's a very different or massively different meaning between the two. And the difference in the writing, it looks the same except there's a line over the first A. That makes it A versus A. The difference between the American pronunciation of hot versus hut. There's two different things. A hut is what our Raghunatha Goswāmī had to stay in on the order of Rup and Sanatan to avert being attacked by tigers, because he was completely without any external shelter and they ordered it, so then he had to do so. This was what he was staying in. But hot is different. Hot is Indian summer. Hot is your roti iron. Hot is fire. So the difference between bhav and bhava, one is transcendental and the other one is complete mundane nescience. So it is good to take this into consideration. It's actually not a subtle pronunciation, but the tendency, and I find myself also making that mistake quite often. But then I think, oh, what would my Gurudev think, or any of those personalities think, if I'm saying Toma Bina Bhava Sindhu versus Bhava Sindhu? So it's just a little lesson on the massive change of definition based on the simplicity of the sound A versus A. It's a very different word. Of course, they will understand what we're trying to say, but we should also try to always improve in the quality of our service. This is the nature of bhakti. One should always try to increase the quality, refine the quality, and so we should never ever be satisfied. If we're satisfied, it means we're stagnant, we're not flowing, we're not making progress. Bhakti, by its nature, is meant to flow and also increase. Bhakti Bhagirati. So we shouldn't take it. Gurudev said, don't take the bucket of water from the river of bhakti and put it to the side and think, oh, now I have bhakti. He said it will begin to rot and stagnate. Rather, you should enter into that flow and drown in that river of bhakti, which is rushing toward the ocean of prem. Akila Rasamrita Murti, that is Krishna. Huh? Yes, so Devaki Didi has requested Kalayati Nayanam, and I think that is the perfect bhajan to sing now. What page is it, Devaki, do you know? It's in the section Śrī Radha, probably 340. $342. That is by Sri Rai Ramananda Rai. Kalayati nayanam dishi dishi vanikam pankajamiva mridu maruta charitam Shiva janayati rudram vajadhipamuditam janayati rudram vajadhipamuditam Vrishabhananandani Srimati Radharani ki jai. Don't forget the lamp. Śrī Dāmodara ki jai. Radha Vino Bihari Shachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. Radha Ramanaju ki jai. Shalagram Shila ki jai. Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai. Laddu Gopal ki jai. Chotta Chotta Laddu Gopal ki jai. And now we will sing Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam by Śrī Satyavrata Muni. Today we are continuing with verse 6. And Sudevi, it's the Gaudiya tune today, right? Sorry, everyone. Namami Sharam Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundanam गोकुले विराजमानम् यशोदाभियोऽनुखालाधावमानम् परामृष्टमत्यन्ततो द्रुत्य गोप्याम् तमामिषारम् सच्चिदानन्दरूपम् लसत्कुण्डलम् गोकुले विराजमानम् रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रं युग्मं मृजन्तं परमभोजयुग्मेन चातङ्कनेत्रम् मुहुश्वासकं त्रिरेखाङ्ककण्ठं स्थितग्रैव दामोदरं भक्तिवदं नमामि शरणं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं रसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानम् इति दृक्शलीलाभिः आनन्दकुन्दे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तं आख्यापयन्तं त्वदीयेषु ताज्ञेषु भक्तैर्जितं पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शतावृत्तिवन्दे नमामि शरणं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं रसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानम् वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं परेशादपीह इदं देवपूर्णाथो गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्याभिलाषं किमन्ये नमामि शरणं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानम् इदं ते मुखं भोजम् अव्यक्तलीलय कृतं कुन्तलैस्निग्ध रक्तैश्च गोप्या मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्ब रक्ताधरं मे मनस्याभिलाषतां मलं लक्षलाभय नमामि शरणं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानम् नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जालाभिमग्नं कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्याति दीनं दताम् गृहानिशमामोऽयं वेद्यक्षिदेश नमामि शरणं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानम् कुबेरात्मजो बद्धं मूर्त्यैव याद्वा त्वय्यमोचितो भक्ति भाजो कृतो च तथा prema bhakti sakame prayocha namo kshegramo me Śrī Dāmodarēva namami sharam Sachidananda rupam lasatkundalam gokule brajamana namaste Sudamne Suradiptihane Tadiyodārāyatho Vishvasya dhame Namo Radhikāya Tadiyapriyāya Namo Radhikāya Tadiyapriyāya Namo Radhikāya Tadiyapriyāya Namo Nantanilayo Devaya Tuvyam Namo Radhikāya Tadiyapriyāya 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 Namo Nantanilayo Devaya Tuvyam Namo Nantanilayo Devaya Tuvyam Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Śrī Radha Damodar Ju ki jai Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai Any particular tune of Hare Krishna you are requesting? Here. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Shinitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo Shri Gurudeva Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Rupan Guru Varga Ki Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Has this tune got a name? So Devi, what's the name of that tune? I don't know either. We don't know yet. Most of them have names, but that one we don't have a name for it yet. I know that when we would go on Nagar Sankirtan, otherwise known as Harinam, like when we went all together in Venice, that tune was sung by Purandar Prabhu, but in a very different way. He would do it kind of in a happy and light way, and we're doing it in a more...
I learned this from Kripa.
So Devi learned this version from Krishna Kripa, who was traveling along with us as our mridanga player, but we were very impressed that he also could play harmonium and sing so nicely, and he's amazing at doing like everything, service, all different kinds of seva. So we don't have a name for it yet, but we will come up with one. We will call it Kripa, means mercy. But we already have Kripa 1, Kripa 2, Kripa 3. We need to come up with good names for those. No, we're not going to call it the Venice tune, because then I'll just see every time that dance, 1, 2, 3, kick out, 1, 2, 3, kick out, like this, and that wouldn't be, how do you say, always appropriate. This one is more sad, and that one is more happy. So that one I would call Purandar, but this one we're going to call something else, because it's more a different way of singing it, I guess you would say. We don't want the overlapping of rasas superimposing the happy three-step kick into this one, which is more of a calling out version. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swāminiti Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitānaṁ Pāvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Ashto Darshat Shri Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Ashto Darshat Shri Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Śrīla Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga, Gauriya, Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe 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 Sham.
Radhe Sham.
They have some good names there.
The sad Venice tune, I just don't recall anything sad about that festival.
No, but because they're calling it longing. I liked longing.
Do you remember that festival? It was just...
The love festival.
Yeah, it was. It was like a page out of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Devaki called it longing.
Sad Kripa tune. Longing. Okay, we'll come up with something. Maybe Kripa already has a name for it, and we'll ask him what it is. So now we will continue with this beautiful transcendental treasure, full of so many transcendental gems in special secret compartments. This is Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, manifested from the heart of Śrī Satyavrata Muni, placed in Padma Purana by Ved Vyas, commented on in this version by Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī. Then that commentary is translated by our Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, along with his Bhav Anubad. And that is followed by the commentary of our Śrīla Gurudev Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, along with his, that is his Bhav Anubad, full of Bhav, full of Ras. So it is Rasik and Bhavuk. So before entering into this beautiful transcendental treasure, we'll pray in the dust of those personalities' lotus feet, in the words of Śrī Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairāga juga bhakti rasam prayatnair apayanan mam anubhipshamandam kripamburirya duki sanatanastam prabhum ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. And we are coming to verse 6. Before we start with verse 6, though, an interesting question was asked to me today. And it's a very common question that you get especially here in India. Shadi hai? Means, are you married? Yes. Bache hai? Do you have children? No. Kyun? Why not? So this question comes up a lot. The one who was asking me, he's quite young, he's got 4 children, but he was asking me why not. And I said, because our Gurudev asked us to give this life, just one, he would say, just this one life. For millions of lives you have had children, you have done everything else, just give me one life, just one. That's what Gurudev said. And he told us that rather than having 1 or 2 of our own who may or may not become devotees, he wants us, or he is pleased, he said, I am pleased unlimitedly more, infinitely more, by you nourishing the spiritual lives of my children. So, but then the next question comes, well, who's going to look after you when you're old? And I just said, this is not like the days before where children look after their aging parents. Children generally just dump their parents in some home now. Maybe the government will take care of them, but everyone's very selfish. And he's like, oh, that's true. But this question always comes up, who's going to look after you? And on this path of bhakti, on this path of Rupanuga Bhakti, we will know that we have actually put our first step forward into the doorway of bhakti, because Sharanagati is defined as Shraddha is defined as Sharanagati. So faith, Shraddha, the first step, some faith, is defined by the principles of Sharanagati. But what is that really? Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer. So according to Shastra, Shraddha Shabde Vishvash Kohe Shudrida Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarvakarma Krita Hoy. The first line, Shraddha Shabde, this word, Shabda, Shraddha, this word, Shraddha, is defined by all of those who know Vishvash Kohe Sudrida Nishchoy. What is it defined as? Krishna Bhakti Koile, just by following the process of serving Krishna or doing bhakti to Krishna. Sarva karma krita hoy. Automatically, everything else, all of your obligations, all of your other duties are taken care of. There's nothing else to worry about, nothing to do. So Shraddha, according to this definition, is not a small thing. It's really easy to say, I have Shraddha, or I have Nishta, or I have Ruchi. But really, do we? That's the question. How far is our Shraddha, our faith? Is it strong faith? Is it real faith? Is it a belief, or is it actually transcendental, paramartik shraddha? Is it something that is just sometimes and then sometimes not? Because shraddha is said to be the first particle of prem, the seed of prem in essence. So we awaken from where we are, shraddha, nishta, ruchi, asakti, bhav, then prem, then sneha, mam, pranaya, rag, anurag. It can go up. So, what are the symptoms of Sharanagati? Shraddha is said, Satya Sharanapati Lakshanaha. Sharanagati is Sharanapati, same. The symptoms of surrender. And what are those symptoms of surrender? Two main ones inside. Rakshishititi Vishvasho, Goptritve Varnam Tata. Krishna is my only protector. Krishna is my only maintainer. This is a very high level, actually, of acceptance and understanding that Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer. That doesn't mean that if you're in the road and a car is coming at you, that you don't step out of the way. Krishna, or Paramatma in the heart, directs the wanderings of the living entities. He would say, don't offer your Dandavat Pranam in the middle of the road. When a car is coming really fast, maybe do it on the edge of the road and move out of the way. This would be Krishna moving you out of the way. So we shouldn't tempt Krishna with this, in a sense, you must serve me, you must physically pick me up and move me out of this place, I'm just going to lie here in that way. That is a different kind of thing. But understanding that Krishna is my maintainer, Krishna is my protector, this principle should arise within the hearts of the devotees or aspiring devotees. Gurudev wanted for all of us to attain the stage of nishta before he departed from this world, from our vision. I don't know if everyone did or not, but my understanding of nishta is that it is quite high. So maybe we failed him on that as a collective group. But some, he said, who have nishta. There may be some. So, when somebody asks this kind of question, what will you do? We must refer to Shastra. We must refer to Gurudev. So many devotees have had children with the intention of bringing up perfect little pure devotees. But each person who is born in this world also has their own set of karma. So one devotee just wrote to me today, we're doing well. Our daughter has moved out of home. She's living with her boyfriend. Our son, he's got his girlfriend and they're skiing. And we're looking at old age coming up and the possibility of death. And we need to take our life more seriously. And they've been devotees their whole life. But the children don't seem to have much interest at all. So our Gurudev told us, you are pleasing me infinitely more by nourishing the spiritual lives of my children rather than having one or two of your own who may or may not be devotees. And that doesn't mean that we're looking at that as our future support. But if we continue to serve Gurudev, follow his instruction, and by this, endeavoring to follow that instruction, somehow or other, a drop of that might reach to Krishna. Gurudev will maintain, he will look after us. Until now, since 1999, when Gurudev ordered us not to have any jobs in this world and literally ripped us out of the potential of, we had $500,000 worth of crops in the Fiji Islands, in the ground. They would have been ready to pull within a year and a half. And he literally ripped us away from that, told us not to look back, and sent us traveling and preaching. He said, what is the use? Better you should use your energy for something else, for traveling and preaching. And so, following his order, we have seen practically that he has, until now, been able to maintain us. I mean, when we go to Sardinia, for example, our only problem is too much good prasadam and great company of wonderful devotees, Sardu Sangha, so inspired and so happy. When we go to England, we're moving from place to place to place, home to home, and the devotees are looking after us and they're asking us about Gurudev and questions, things that we've heard from Gurudev. And somehow we're given a place to stay. We are given any medium of transportation and prasadam, and even sometimes donations. So sometimes, somehow, since 1999 until now, 2021, we have been operating on this principle. And our experience, our own personal experience, is that Gurudev is proving it true. And it's not that we have Shraddha, or that we have Nishtha, or Ruchi, or Asakti, or Bhav, or any of that. But we do have a desire in our heart to please Gurudev. When we were in Murwillumbah, Australia, was it Australia that happened? Yes. It was after the program and Gurudev was leaving, and he had just told us to travel and preach in Vrindavan and then again in Australia. And at that time, Sudevi was quite concerned. How are we going to maintain ourselves? We don't have any ability to do this. How is anything going to happen? We were quite concerned, but Gurudev, he was like, what are you doing next? He was looking at Sudevi, what are you doing next? She said, well, we're going back to Fiji where we live, Gurudev. Gurudev put his finger in her face like this. I don't want you in Fiji. I want you traveling and preaching. And then he asked where this other devotee is. He made a team of 3 of us. Where is she? Sudevi said, she's in England where she lives with her husband, Gurudev. I don't want her there. I want her traveling and preaching with you all over the world. And we were like... And then Gurudev was the next day getting in his car to leave. And we were just kind of a little bit confused. We had this massive farm, 10 people working for us. This other devotee was all the way in England doing her thing. And we were completely like, what are we supposed to do? And Srila Gurudev saw Sudevi was standing there crying and weeping. And Gurudev came over. And we said something to the... Gurudev said, don't worry for money, it will come. And I said to Gurudev, Gurudev, we don't want money, we just want to please you. He said, oh, then even more will come, like milk from the sky. And he literally started milking the sky. And Sudevi was like, milk doesn't come from the sky. And then Gurudev got in the car and left. And we were just like, we're kids. We don't know anything. We grew up in a family of devotees, but I didn't even know that Mahaprabhu was Krishna trying to experience the mood of Srimati Radhika. I was completely unaware of all of this. I knew a little bit of some verses from Bhagavad Gita about Jiva Tattva. And at that time, just as Gurudev got in the car, someone came up, a friend of ours came up behind Sudevi and tapped her. And she said, I heard Gurudev yelling at you yesterday. She said, I wanted to be the first to give you a donation to help. And we were like, what? And she gave Sudevi an envelope. We opened that envelope. And it was the first time we had seen such a chunk at one time in one place. Yeah, I told that. She said, I heard what Gurudev said to you yesterday. I heard him ordering, I don't want you in Fiji. I want you traveling like this. She said, I want to be the first to give a donation toward it. And so Sudevi opened the envelope, and inside was 2,000 British pounds. 2,000. We were like, whoa. I guess this is happening. We didn't have a choice after that. Gurudev just proved that he could milk the sky and that we don't have a choice now. We can't go back and say, well, nothing showed up. Something showed up. Immediately we had to search and find the addresses of different devotees around the world. And I think we had a 14-stop round the world tour with many other stops around those stops. And that was in 2000 we were able to do that for the first time. And it continued since then. But Gurudev proved it at that point. And then continued to prove it again and again. And since 1999, somehow. So our experience is that if we hold tightly to the instructions, the lotus feet of Sri Guru, maybe we don't have Ananya Bhakti for Krishna, but Guru is our advocate. Gurudev is our advocate. Like Srila Prabhupada said, if we've done some crime, it might be that you have to go to jail for 10 years and get fined $100,000. But because your advocate is a friend of the judge, and he takes you under his personal care, then you will get off because of his petitioning. Okay? Just a slap on the wrist and a $1 fine. Should have been your head, but it's only a scratch on your finger. That kind of thing. So our experience is, maybe we don't have Shraddha, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, or any of that, but some desire to serve and please Gurudev, then Gurudev will show and prove. Look, if you continue to serve, continue to follow, then everything will be taken care of. There's nothing for you to worry about. And Gurudev has said it again and again and again. So I just wanted to share that because this question has come up so many times to us. You would not believe it. At one festival, we were near Kassel, where all those little bungalows were in the festival in Germany. And we sat down at the table with a very senior Vaishnava and another very senior Vaishnava. One was a sannyasi. Both were from India. And they actually started questioning what we were doing. Why no children? Well, Gurudev told us this. Oh, that's just for you. If you don't do this, then you get all this negative repercussion. And like this, he's just saying that because that's what you want to hear. Mark my words, they said. By this time next year, you will definitely have children. And we were thinking, oh my God, did we just get cursed? Maybe we've made aparad to Gurudev. Now we're getting cursed like this. So immediately we sent a letter to Gurudev, a note. And immediately a note came back from Gurudev. Don't worry for what they've said. And that's when he said that. You are pleasing me infinitely more by nourishing the spiritual lives of my children rather than having one or two of your own who may or may not become devotees. And so Gurudev continuously nourished us in our conviction, in our faith, somehow or other, always maintaining us when we continue to serve. If we decide to do our own separate thing, then we notice, oh my God, now I have to struggle on my own, and the struggle for existence is quite intense. But when one is serving Guru, Gauranga, Radha, and Krishna, or making that endeavor to serve, then the struggle for existence, it is like you have accepted Krishna as your master, and Krishna is no poor person. Krishna is the possessor of all Lakshmi. He is Sarva Shaktiman. So there's no lacking in him. So he can and will manage, as he says, Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam bahamyaham. Ananyaschintayanto mam. Now Krishna is saying, for one who surrenders exclusively unto me. Sri Guru is exclusively surrendered unto Krishna. What is my surrender? My surrender might only be to the extent of Gugu Gaga. But if that is pleasing to Gurudev, then Gurudev will make all arrangement. Almost like, when you go to the bank and you get a loan to purchase a house, you can pay it off slowly over many years. They're good. They're under my care. I will train them properly and they will make you proud. Maybe now you're a baby, but one day you will be able to serve so much. So this is our hope, our aspiration. But it is not that we can depend on any material situation to look after us in the future. There's no guarantee of any of that. Stock markets crash and people lose everything in a minute. Billionaires. Or a health condition manifests. There's so many different considerations that can take place, and everything can change in a moment. But there's one thing that is tattva, means it is unchangeable and real. If one is surrendered to Krishna, then Krishna takes care. Krishna maintains, Krishna protects. And we have so many examples in our scriptures to prove this point. We have seen, especially, Prahlad Maharaj. Complete conviction, always chanting the holy names of Krishna. And no matter what Hiranyakashipu tried to do to him, he was taking shelter of the holy names, and nothing could affect him. We've also seen this in the life of Ambarish Maharaj. Durvasa Muni tried to kill him with this fire demon that he made with his dreadlock. And Ambarish Maharaj was looking at, okay, somehow I have offended this Vaishnava, I deserve to die. So whatever is meant to come to me, tattenu kampam susamikshamano, I deserve this. Let me keep my mind, my heart, my words, everything focused on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. But Krishna himself has personally sworn to protect such devotees. So immediately his chakra appeared, destroyed that demon, and went after Durvasa. So many examples are given in our Shastras. And we've also seen our Gurudev. I don't think I've told you this yet since we started this series of programs. When was it? Pretty much, it's been daily since March. So we were in Murwillumbah at the home of Braj Mandal Prabhu at that time, and Gurudev was there. And Gurudev said, "Oh, I wanted that you would travel with me everywhere." And I said, "We also want to do that, but we have no money." And Gurudev pulls his pockets like this, and he said, "I have no money either, but I'm going everywhere." And I realized, oh, Gurudev also didn't have his own bank account. He didn't have his own money or anything. But because he had complete faith and he has taken complete shelter in Harinam, serving Harinam Prabhu day and night, then he has nothing to worry about. Srila Prabhupada, of course there are bank accounts, but he wasn't living luxuriously for himself. But everything was manifesting. Krishna was providing everything for them. And they're showing by their own example. We have nothing, but if we're using everything that comes to us in the service of Krishna, then Krishna continues to provide. And then of course Gurudev has promised, and Shastra has promised, if you even give 1 grain to Giriraj Maharaj, it may be that Lakshmi Devi will have to beg, but you will never have to beg. So I just wanted to share these because it was very cute. Gurudev was like, I have no money either, but I'm traveling all over the world. So it was like, okay, every time I would come up with an excuse, he had a better one. It was always, he just set me straight with Tattva Siddhanta. Always, in a very sweet way. So now, we will continue with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. I just look back and I see this, Anjali, we were cursed. Gurudev said, don't worry for them. Don't worry for what they have to say. And then I felt, oh, Gurudev is protecting us. They might say this, mark our words, by this time next year. But Gurudev is even more powerful in one sense than Krishna, because Krishna becomes the property of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. Radhara dasira Krishna sarva vede bole. Krishna becomes the property of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. And who are our Rupanuga Guru Varga? They are Radhika's maidservants, assisting the gopis in serving Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. So, in that case, Krishna also has a subservient mood to them. I wouldn't say always, but many times when he needs to break Radhika's man, he has to come to them first and get their permission. One after the next, as Sudevi told in Barshana at the steps of Mangar. You know, the 1,000 steps that go up. So Sudevi beautifully explained that pastime there. So, what is there that Gurudev can't do? It is said in Shastra that mukti, that money, that all kinds of facility are waiting to serve the pure devotee of Krishna. And I remember once, it was downstairs, Gurudev was saying, oh, we will tell those things, you stay very far away. Interesting, isn't it? They have no attraction to any of that. They only want to love and serve Krishna. In other words, there's only one problem. There's only one problem. And whoever gets that right first will get. My God, I had something in my mind today and I was thinking, how come I haven't offered that yet? And I can't remember at the moment. Hare Krishna. There's only one problem. What is that one problem? Srila Gurudev said. I haven't given the prize yet. What's the prize, Sudevi? Very good, Anjali. Where is Krishna? How was it that Srila Gurudev instructed you about giving this one life? What setting were you in? At the marriage yagya? He said it actually many times, but I remember specifically hearing him saying, I just want this one life. Just one, give one. So he wasn't only saying it to us, he was saying it to so many. That I want that you just give me this one life, just this one. And then later on you can do other things. And you've already given all of your time to everything else in every previous life. Just give me this one. It's actually a trick. It's really a trick because Gurudev said, after Krishna Ras Prabhu saying Bandhu Sange Jarita Varanga Parihas in 1996 at Keshighat, Gurudev was talking about, be careful, don't come to Vrindavan. And if you happen to come to Vrindavan, do not go to Keshighat. And if you, by great misfortune, go there, do not look upon the face of Govinda, you will lose everything. And after telling all of that, he said, oh, one thing. Be careful. Don't trust that person who's wearing saffron, who's carrying Bhagavatam under their arm. They will cheat you for everything. And when that day comes, he said, don't blame me. I've warned you. So who can we blame except for ourselves? We came here, we went there, we're looking for Govinda, and we're trying to trust that person who wears saffron, who's carrying Bhagavatam under their arm. He has warned us, so what can we do? So he instructed to give this one life. That means that whatever we have done in any previous life, we've already done millions and millions of times over. We have an opportunity this time to somehow, in the association of Anuragi Jan, eternal associates of Krishna, whose hearts are overflowing with prem, we have the opportunity this life to somehow awaken greed for Krishna Bhakti Ras by being in their association, hearing their Harikatha, and giving our energy to follow their instructions. This life. I'm trying to remember that verse Srila Prabhupada said, that this human form of life is special because it gives us a choice whether to remain in this material world in samsara or to get out. So we should endeavor to do what we have not done in other previous lives. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending is always there, but the human form of life affords us the opportunity to do something that we have not done in previous lifetimes. Endeavor for perfection. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to endeavor or inquire about the absolute truth. Now is the time. And I believe there was a verse that Prabhupada would quote in that connection, but I can't remember it at this moment. So what setting were we in? The marriage yagya? At the marriage yagya, right after the marriage, Gurudev laughed and he said, actually, I tricked you. All of the prayers that we chanted, everything that we did, this was all, basically, he said, we married you to Radha and Krishna. There were 4 couples there. It was us, Raghava Prabhu, and his wife at the time, and then Krishna Kanta Prabhu, Didi and Rasaraj Prabhu, and Mathuranath and Chandrakala. 4 couples were there. And then right after the wedding, Srila Gurudev told Vishaka Didi, untie them immediately. And she came right up to us and started untying our clothes. And we were like, what are you doing? We're supposed to keep this tied up and keep it in the closet for the whole marriage. She said, I don't know. Gurudev told me to untie you immediately. We said, what about them? She said, he didn't say about them. He said about you two. And we were like, what's going on? We thought we've probably been doing this marriage thing for like thousands of lifetimes. And now Gurudev was like, enough, no more. After this one, no more. You should be able to focus your mind fully on Krishna. What? I think we were brahmacharis together. She said we'll be brahmacharis together, and I said I think we were. We had this joke going that we were probably some kind of like, very weak Gaudiya Math brahmacharis, and we became attracted to maybe, some British women. And I made a joke previously. Sudevi, when she was younger, had blonde hair, and as she was getting older, it started becoming darker. That we both had attraction to any blonde woman, so she became one and I married one. That was the joke. But who knows? Where is Krishna? Give me this one life. That is for all of you as well. That's not just for us. Gurudev was telling it to the devotees, but he would also focus it. Just give me this one. You have done everything there is to do before. For us, he gave a very specific threat. After investigating us over a period of years, he's like, you don't want to have children? We're like, no. We want to do bhajan. We want bhakti. We want to serve you. We were like this. He's like, what about your wife? And I said, even more, she doesn't want children. He said, call her here immediately. So she came running to the room. We went into the room, and then Gurudev gave us a series of personal instructions for us in that setting. And then at the end of all of these personal instructions, he said, anyhow, if any child comes, then like Chitraketu Maharaj. And I will leave that up to you to decipher the meaning of that. Then like Chitraketu Maharaj. And that's all he needed to say. We told many different parents, and they were like, like that. They freaked out. They're like, no. They were like, don't go down that path. If Gurudev really said that, don't go down that path. Yeah, Gurudev was heavy when he said it, and he was actually telling us other things. So he was telling us about certain persons who had, in essence, ruined their lives. And then he gave us the positive, oh, you can do this and you should do that. And anyhow, if anyone comes, then like Chitraketu Maharaj. And we were like, right, if you do have children, then like Chitraketu Maharaj. So that's enough. Come on, Janardhan Prabhu. That's for you to decipher. So now that I've spoken that much, Srila Gurudev gave us that blessing personally. That's not necessarily for everyone, but it is also for everyone. Basically, wherever anyone is at in their life, from that point, then one should try to progress on the path of bhakti. There's that bhajan. Grihe tako, vane tako, bol haribo, sukhe tako, dukhe tako, bol haribo. Whether you're at home or whether you're in the forest or whether you're a sannyasi or whatever situation, in every situation, chant the names of the Lord, whether you're happy or sad, in every situation. Always chant. And also this guy, Gaura Madhushure, Grihe tako, vane tako, sada hari bole dako, suke duke bhulo nako, vadane harinam korore. Always recite the holy names of the Lord in every situation. But from wherever we are now, Gurudev would always encourage all of us, don't become more involved in the material world. Gradually try to relinquish those things. Gradually try to give those things up. Don't become more attached, more involved, more bound to the material world. Wherever you are, okay. Now from there, try to progress. Always endeavor to progress on the path of bhakti. So that was for all of us. Chitra Ketu. Citraketu. That would be the Sanskrit pronunciation. So now we are In verse 6, Dandavat Shashank, and Keshava Priya, Dandavat Pranam. Namo Deva Damodarāṣṭakam Vishnu Prasida Prabhodhuka Jalabhimagnam Kripa Drishti Vrishtyati Dinam Batanu Grihane Shamamagyam Medhyakshidresha Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam La Satkundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Translation. O Deva, O you who have a divine form, I offer my respectful obeisance to you. O you who are Bhakta Vatsala, affectionate to your devotees. Śrī Dāmodara, O Ananta, Lord of inconceivably magnificent potencies. O all-pervasive Vishnu, O Prabhu, my master, be pleased with me. I am drowning in an ocean of incessant worldly miseries. Alas, I am extremely miserable and I do not know what to do. O Isha, supremely independent controller, please deliver me by the nectarian shower of your merciful glance and enliven me by becoming directly visible to my eyes. This is quite interesting because previously we have heard from our Param Gurudev and from Sanatana Gosvāmī Pad through our Param Gurudev and from our Gurudev himself that Śrī Satyavrata Muni was going deeper and deeper into the moods, wanting to see that beautiful form, that beautiful face of Krishna kissed again and again and again by Mother Yashoda. And even going deeper toward this idea of that beautiful face of Shyama Sundar being kissed again and again and again by Srimati Radhika. And our Param Gurudev and Gurudev was saying that Śrī Satyavrata Muni was also desiring that as Mother Yashoda was doing, oh, I also want to do that. So he was developing greed in the wake of the moods of this particular Brajbasi to also serve Krishna accordingly by kissing his beautiful lotus-like face again and again. And so they were showing that there is a progression of deepening of moods, of bhavs, and this was Brajabhav. Now we've come to this verse. Namo Deva, Damodara, Ananta, Vishnu. All of these very Prabho, Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam. So it's all very Aishwarya mood again. And so how do we reconcile that? Sometimes we see, like Raghunath Das Goswami, in Vilap Kusumanjali, he's bouncing back between his internal mood and then external sadhaka mood. Internally he has one mood, and you'll see he's starting with Sri Rupa Manjari Kararchita Pada Padma. He's actually praying for direct service in line of Sri Rupa Manjari. And then later on, at different points, he's manifesting in the mood of a sadhaka, a practitioner on the path of bhakti. And what does a sadhaka feel? I am nothing. I am the lowest of the low. I am wicked. I have no bhakti whatsoever. O Lord, O Master, please be merciful to me. You are an ocean of mercy. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing this in Śrī Satyavrata. Right? He's saying, Durdaivam idrishami hajani naruragaha. I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction to your holy names, which are invested with all of your transcendental potencies. And then he's saying, Mama janmani janmanishvare. May I have bhakti for you at your lotus feet. Birth after birth. Then Ayi Nanda Tunuja Kinkaram. Now he's showing a mood of deep supplication and humility. Ayi Nanda Tunuja Kinkaram. That I'm your maidservant. Oh, son of Nanda Mahārāja, Krishna. Ayi Nanda Tunuja Kinkaram Patitamam Vishame Bhavambado Kripaya tapapada pankaja stita dhuli sadrasham vichintaya. Please keep me like an atom or a particle of dust at your lotus feet. This seems almost like an admittance or an acceptance of the Aishvaryata of Bhagavan. But then again, this can also be taken in a different way, depending on the vision of the person seeing it. So Satyavrata Muni here is now manifesting this. He's saying, oh, you are Bhakta Vatsal. So you've seen our Gurudev, you've seen Prabhupada, you've seen Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and all of them weeping and crying in a mood of deep humility and supplication to Krishna. And yet we acknowledge that they're also Rupanuga, meaning real, eternal associates of Radha and Krishna in the group of Lalita Sakhi under the guidance of Sri Rupa Manjari, serving Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. But it's not that they're not aware of all of these other prayers or that they don't pray them themselves. We see it in the words of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We see it in the words of Narottam Das Thakur. We see it in the words of Lochan Das Thakur. We've seen it in the words of Srila Prabhupada. Those prayers he wrote on the Jaladuta, part 1 and part 2. Krishna tava punya habibhai and Boro kripa koile Krishna adhamera prati. He said, I'm just like a puppet in your hands. O Lord, make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you like. I've been given this name, Bhaktivedānta, and it's up to you to make it a reality. Signed, your most unfortunate, insignificant beggar. So these moods are being expressed by these personalities. They have these feelings of, I am nothing and I'm completely dependent on your mercy. And so here you see Śrī Satyavrata Muni, although he is moving forward in his depth of mood and bhav, still this mood is also manifesting or coming out. That does not deny the other mood. As Gurudev said previously, while his prayers until this point reflect the mood of someone absorbed in Vatsalya ras, we should not mistake these words to mean that he rejects the attainment of something higher than Vatsalya Prem. And so that would also flow into the next verse. Just because he's praying in such a way, it does not necessarily, it does not mean that we should mistake that he's not progressing from there. But Damodar can also mean, it's also a name of Nārāyaṇa and Vishnu. It depends on the mood of the personality saying the names. So for example, we might chant the names of the different forms of Vishnu while putting on tilak, right? Lalate Keshavabdayam Nārāyaṇam Atodare. So Keshavaya Nama, Nārāyaṇam, Madhavaya Nama, Govindaya, Vishnave, Madhusudanaya, Trivikramaya. All of the different names of Vishnu while we're putting on our tilak, and think of it like that. But for someone who is in Brajabhav, who's a Braj Rasik Vaishnava, when they say the name Keshava, they're not thinking of any four-armed form of Vishnu. Kesh also means hair. And who is brushing the hair of Srimati Radhika at Sringarvat? That is also Keshava. So they have a different understanding. They might chant the same mantra, but a completely different meaning will be felt and moods. And all of the different names have deep, deep, hidden, secret meanings in Vrindavan as well. Although we have heard that when Srila Gurudev would put on his tilak, what prayer would he chant, Sudevi?
I don't know.
When he would put on his tilak? Ah, very good.
Sorry, I was thinking rather people Kataksha.
When he would put on his tilak, he would say, Tavaivasmi, Tavaivasmi, Najibami Tvayavina, Itivigyaya Radhe Tomnayam Vam Charanantike.
When he would do Tulsi Parikrama, he would do rather people Kataksha.
Really?
Yes.
When he would do Tulsi Parikrama, he would chant his Radha Kripakataksha Stavaraja. Interesting. I wanted to ask, what are the Braj Bhakti meaning of tilak names? I don't even know if I know all of them, but Damodar is also a form of Vishnu, four-arm form. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining to Sanatana Gosvāmī about all of the different names and the positions of their the paraphernalia in the arms, so many different forms of Vishnu and so many different names. So there's Keshava, Nārāyaṇa, but Nārāyaṇa can also be a name of Krishna in Vrindavan. Madhava, Govinda, these are all Vishnu names, but they're also Braj names. Vishnu. The gopis are also using this name for Krishna in Vrindavan. Vikriditam brajabadubir idam cha Vishnum shradhanvito nishinayad atavarnayadya. This is referring to that person, Krishna, who is all-pervading, meaning he is present with all of those gopis at that rasa dance. Although there were millions of them, he is Vishnu, means all-pervading, and pervading internally as well. So this name Vishnu is also used in Braj. So Namo Deva Damodarāṣṭakam Vishnu. Ananta means unlimited, but you can see it in different ways. So Vishnave Namaha. Madhusudan. It can mean the killer of the Madhu demon, but it can also mean like the bumblebee who's taking honey. Madhu also means honey. And like when Madhu Mangal chased that bumblebee away from Prem Sarovar and came back bragging, I have chased that Madhusudan away and he will never return. At that time, Srimati Radhika, sitting on the lap of Krishna, began weeping inconsolably that Madhusudan has been chased away and he will never return. It's a name for Krishna, who's like a bumblebee tasting the nectar and the sweetness of all of those gopis, jumping from flower to flower to flower. So many. Śrī Dhar. Śrī is also Srimati Radhika. She's the original Śrī. And Dhar means who is maintaining, or who is holding, who is lifting. So maybe when Krishna is lifting Srimati Radhika on his back, there's so many different deeper and deeper meanings of all of these names. And that is for you to meditate upon and to learn and to study and to find. That is what we should be doing while we are chanting. Remembering and meditating and praying for all of these things. That is part of our sadhana, our search. There's so many beautiful names. Yes, up until today, really, Devaki? Previously, Srila Gurudev spoke about Damodar, that there's Yashoda Damodar, that is whose waist is bound by the rope of Mother Yashoda's love. And then there's Radha Damodar. That's not the same as Yashoda Damodar, but he is also bound by Srimati Radhika completely. So he is also known as Damodar. And so when one is looking from Vatsalya perspective, they will see Yashoda Damodar. And when one is looking from Madhurya perspective, they will understand and see that Radhika has completely subjugated Krishna, bound him, completely spellbinding him with amorous delusion. Anangaranga mangala prasanga bhangura bhruvam savibramang sasambramang drigantavana patanai nirantaram vishikrita pratiti nandanandane kada karishyasi hamang kripakataksha bhajanam. By her sidelong glances, shooting with her eyebrows, which are like bows, perpetually shooting the heart of Nandanandan again and again and again, until he falls flat on the amorous battlefield. So she has completely spellbound him. She is Madan Mohan Mohini. Therefore we say, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe. May she always be victorious over Krishna. So, we've got a few minutes. Now we are going to the Digdarshani Tika Bhavanubad, that is the translation of Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī's commentary by our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, with his added, injected personal bhav anuvad, his own commentary full of transcendental moods and sentiments. By the power of his prayers, an uncommon type of prema instantly arose within Śrī Satyavrata Muni's heart, and he now expresses his intense longing to see Sri Bhagavan directly. Within his mind, he concluded that the best means to attain direct darshan of Sri Bhagavan is indeed Sri Nam Sankirtan, and therefore in this verse, beginning with Namo Deva, he submits himself to his Lord through fervent prayers in the form of Sri Nam Sankirtan. So there's an answer right there. He's starting to chant the names of the Lord. Through Nam Sankirtan, his desire may be fulfilled. And in the previous verse, at the end, Srila Gurudev said, if one they will start to offer prayers when that desire becomes more intense. He said, when one attains the association of one of Srimati Radhika's companions, her mood will enter their heart and cause them to implore Krishna. Oh Shri Krishna, if you are pleased with me and want to give me something, then Shyama Sundar Shikanda Shekara Smeraha Samurli Manohara Radhikara Sikamang Kripanidhe Swapriya Charana Kinkarin Kuru. Oh Shyama Sundar, if you can give me anything, please make me a maidservant at the feet of your dear most beloved Srimati Radhika. Then Srila Gurudev says, when Krishna is truly satisfied, he considers it his own success to bestow this benediction upon the practicing devotees, sadhakas and sadhikas. So now we see that Satyavrata Muni is taking shelter of Nam Sankirtan. Namo Deva Damodarāṣṭakam Vishno Prasida Prabho Duka Jalab Dimagnam Kripadrishti Vishtati Dinam Batanu Grihaneshamam Agyam Edyakshi Drishya. One should understand that even though the sage intended to use the word tubhyam, unto you, after the word namaha, to complete the grammatical construction, he left it out, either because of apprehension, reverence, or because he simply lost control of himself due to the prema arising within his heart. Consequently, he was unable to address Sri Bhagavan so directly. In the beginning of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, or maybe in the end. No, it is said that Śrīmad Bhagavatam, I believe it's the third verse, or the fourth, no, third or fourth, second, one of those. It said that it is relished by those who are thoroughly honest, although it may be imperfectly composed. So there's an acknowledgement that the Sanskrit might not be perfectly composed, but it is a manifestation of prem, and as such, it is to be accepted as the highest or supreme truth. Reality distinguished from illusion. Dharma projita, that's the second verse. Dharma projita kaitava trapparamo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapontrayon mulanam Śrīmad Bhagavate Mahamunikrite kim vaparar ishvara sadyo hridya varudyate trakritibi sushrushribhi takshanat. So in there, it is directly acknowledging. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada states in his, I think it's an essay or an article entitled Thakur Bhakti Vinod, which you can find on bdlmu.org. There, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is stating that the words of the pure devotee, although they might have some external grammatical apparent mistake, are always correct. Whereas the words of the mundane empiricist or the materialist who's trying to calculate the infinite with their own minds is always and necessarily wrong, even though it might be perfectly composed. And then our Srila Gurudev also gave that example with Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. He asked me, is it Pradayate or Pradayine? And I'm like, Pradayate. And then he asked the Sanskrit scholar, what is it? And the Sanskrit scholar said, well, technically it should be Pradayine. And Gurudev said, but it was composed by Śrī Dāmodara Gosvāmī and Uttam Mahabhagavat. And so, according to the rules of Sanskrit grammar, whatever the pure devotee says is always right. And then that Sanskrit scholar began laughing and saying, yes, you are right, you are right, you are right. So here we see, apparently, Satyavrata Muni has apparently made what appears to be a grammatical mistake. But how is it reconciled by Sanatana Gosvāmī and our Param Gurudev? He left it out, either because of apprehension, reverence, or because he simply lost control of himself due to the prema arising within his heart. Consequently, he was unable to address Sri Bhagavan so directly. And we know that actually this is more pleasing to the Lord than something which is just perfectly composed. Those gopis who ran to Krishna in the middle of the night, how were they? Some had kajal only on one eye. Some had put the wrong jewelry in the wrong places. They weren't fully prepared, but they heard that calling of Krishna, and whatever they were doing, they stopped and ran to serve him and to please him, thinking it is an emergency. What they heard was Krishna calling Srimati Radhika, Esho Esho Radhe. Without you, I will not be able to maintain my life. I will die without you. And because they're all manifestations of her own moods of love and affection for Krishna, they all heard their own names being called. And by the millions, they left whatever situation they were in, right in the middle of it, and ran to serve Krishna. Why? Because it was an emergency. They ran to Krishna at that moment with intense utkanta, intense eagerness to serve him and to please him for his benefit, for his happiness, for his necessity. And so they arrived in so many very interesting appearances. And this was so much more pleasing to Krishna. Also, like when Vidurani, the wife of Vidura, was endeavoring to give Krishna bananas. But due to prem and weeping in intense love for Krishna, she lost her mind in a sense and instead was giving Krishna the peel. She was unaware and she was giving Krishna the peel, but Krishna was relishing this as the sweetest thing. And then you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's saying, Nayanam galara shrudharaya badanam gadgad rudhaya gira. Gadgad. He's not even able to say the name of Jagannath. He's saying Jagagaga, Jagagaga. His voice is choked up. And this causes such intense pleasure to see how much love they have that they cannot even call properly in essence. Just like if we heard once that, we've heard from our Gurudev, how our Param Gurudev, on the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he could not even call the name of his Guru without choking up and weeping. And then he would just signal to them that they should speak. It means our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja, Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Mahārāja, he would just signal to them that they should speak, and he would just continue weeping the whole time. That was his offering, his tears. And Gurudev said Krishna likes one tear more than thousands of words. And we heard from one devotee, one Vaishnava, that there was a disappearance festival of our Param Gurudev probably around 1992 or somewhere around there. And Gurudev could not even get through the full name of his Gurudev in the whole 1.5 hours of class. He started with Nitya Lila and then weeping and could not contain himself. And all the devotees sitting there in front of him just began weeping with Gurudev, watching him weep in separation from his Guru. And then the next part, Pravishta, and then weeping. This went on for the entire duration of the class, and all were just weeping with Gurudev for his Gurudev. This is more powerful and more pleasing than all of one's technical ability. As Sudevi would always say, Krishna doesn't need our technical ability. How good we can sing, or how expert we can play harmonium or drum, or how expertly we can orate or tell shloks, or all of this. He's got Srimati Radhika singing for him. He's got Mother Yashoda singing for him. She said even his cows and his mosquitoes sing better than us, because they're singing out of pure love. Hare Krishna.
I don't think we lost anyone. There are a few questions. Hare Priya Keshava Brave. I don't know if you saw it.
So, as Rupa Goswami, I think that's where we left off. Where did we leave off? So, I'll just continue with this point. So, Rupa Goswami, he's praying, Ha Devi Kaku Bharagad Gadaya Devacha. There he's saying that his heart is breaking, he's falling flat like a stick, and his voice is choked up, imploring Srimati Radhika to please count me as one of your own. Jache nipatya bhuvidandavat urbatarti asya prasadam abudasya janasya kritva gandharvike nijagane or tavagane nijagane garanang videhi. Yes, even his own cows and mosquitoes sing better than us. So he does not need our technical ability. He already has it, and he has all of his associates who have the best, most amazing technical ability. So really, Krishna is attracted to any sincere heart. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram pushpam palam toyam. If you don't have anything, and all you can offer me is a leaf, or a flower, or a little bit of fruit, or some water, I will accept that. But there's a condition. What's the condition? Yo me bhaktya prayachiti. If it is offered with love and devotion, then I will accept it. But if we have millions and millions of dollars and we try to only give him a piece of fruit, then that cannot be considered love and affection. That's considered hoarding his wealth, or taking his Lakshmi for our own enjoyment. Srila Prabhupada calls that Ravan mentality. He tried to take Sita from Ram. So that's different. But Yome Bhaktya Prayachati means, with whatever I have at my disposal, let me offer everything to Krishna. Starting with myself. Starting with this heart. Hridvar Vapurbir Vidadan Namaste. Mind, body, soul, words, everything. Offering exclusively at the lotus feet of Krishna. Then that is attractive to Krishna. That will attract Krishna's attention, not a big show of how much I can do. And I'm going to utilize one example we've heard from Ramayana, how Hanuman was kind of poking fun at, making fun of that. Some say it was a squirrel, some say it was a spider. Anyhow, he was doing his best to flick sand, if it was a spider, and if it was a squirrel, to bring little pebbles and throw them in the ocean to help make that bridge to Lanka. And Hanuman was like, what good is that going to do? Can't you see what I'm throwing in? Can't you see what all of us are throwing in to make that bridge? What good is that? And then Ram took him to the side and said, he's doing the best he can according to his ability. He's giving the best effort he can. You are capable of so much more. And so you should not look at them as giving nothing. They're giving the best, the maximum of their energy. I remember it was Sundar Gopal who wrote those books, the Book of Dharma and the Dark Night of the Soul, I think. He said something once that really struck me. He said what Gurudev wants is to extract as much energy as possible from any of his disciples to utilize in the service of Krishna. To the extent that we give our energy in the service of Krishna, To that extent, Gurudev is pleased or satisfied. So if we have so much energy and we only give 5%, Gurudev will look at it like that. And if we have no energy, practically, but we give 95%, Gurudev will look at it like that. But Krishna is not so concerned with our quantity. He's concerned with our quality. And if our quality is pure, then naturally it will always endeavor to increase in its quantity, because that is the nature of quality. Whereas someone can be doing massive amounts of quantity, Srila Gurudev himself said that you can be chanting lakhs and lakhs of Harinam and worshipping thousands of Shalagram Shilas. But if somehow or other this does not give you attraction for hearing the pure Harikatha, the glories of Krishna from the mouths of the pure devotees, then Shrama eva hi kevalam. It's right in the first or second chapter of Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam. Gurudev says it right there. Shrama eva hi kevalam. If anyone knows what Shrama eva hi kevalam means, you will get, I know what it was. A plate of simply wonderfuls. I was thinking, how come I haven't offered simply wonderfuls yet? Shrama eva hi kevalam. Okay, I'll leave you with that. So, this point that Krishna, he's attracted by the sincerity in the heart, not by our big show of whatever. It's easy. Someone can have a lot of money and they can do some amazing external show. But if there's no heart, no love, no affection, this is not attractive to Krishna. What did Shabari do? She heard from her guru that one day Ram will personally come and accept your service. So every day she prepared. Every day. She would lay flowers on that path leading to that ashram. She would have sweet fruits ready, and she would even taste one of those fruits from the tree. Make sure the fruits that are coming from this tree are very sweet. So she would select from the sweetest fruited tree and then make those ones available for Sri Ram, waiting with hopeful expectation until her old age, until Ram finally came to that place and satisfied all of her desires to serve him. He accepted her love and affection in the form of service. What did she have? She didn't have big fanfare or anything. It was her loving service mood, and she was preparing herself and her vicinity in such a way that he should be able to come and be here and be satisfied with my endeavor to serve. And Krishna's not, he likes it that if somebody can't do anything perfectly. What's that example, Sudevi? When Radhika is going to the forest in the night? Oh, I'm just remembering. As she's running toward Krishna with that intense eagerness to meet with him, sometimes she's overcome and she begins to stumble. And then she's able to run again, and then she stumbles again. And the sound of her ankle bells, Krishna hearing that stumbling, it's not a perfect run. It is bhav manifested in that form. And that is so exceedingly pleasing to the heart and the ears of Krishna.
More than the perfect sound, because it's showing her moves, her body, that she won't speak to him.
More than the perfect sound of running ankle bells, because it is showing him what even she will not say to him directly, but he is hearing it in her footsteps, that stumbling. This is pleasing to Krishna. So,
That's why if it's imperfectly composed, it's the bhav and it's pleasing to Krishna.
so coming back to this point, that is why even if it is imperfectly composed, technically, but the bhav, the mood is pure, with loving affection to Krishna, without any negative mood. If one is in a state of enhanced remembrance of Krishna, all kinds of ashtasattvic bhavs will be manifesting. Evam vritasva priya nama kirtya jatanurago drita chitta uchay hasatyato roditi roti gayat yun madhavan ritati lokabahya. In madness, divine madness, sometimes laughing, crying, rolling on the ground, dancing, completely unaware of what anyone outside is saying or thinking or mocking, completely absorbed. There might be some external, apparent, from an external perspective, mistake. But from the perspective of Krishna, that is perfection. And he is so attracted to that heart who's completely submitting themselves in prem, the experiencing divine madness. Prema unmada. So consequently, because he simply lost control of himself due to the prem arising within his heart. Consequently, he was unable to address Sri Bhagavan so directly. So, now we have come to the time. This is the end of this section for us today. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai, Śrī Satyavrata Muni ki jai, Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī Par ki jai, Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. So, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So, you want the remnants of who gets it? Oh, yes, Keshava Priya got it in English. And in Sanskrit, it is Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. It actually means so much hard, useless labor. So, in one sense, we should understand that it's not ever useless to worship Shalagram or to take shelter of Harinam Prabhu. But what should the result of that be? It should not just be that we are doing Nam Aparad forever. Or, what do you call it? Seva Aparad forever. And what will be the proof? Well, bhakti will start to come. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yadahoitukam. Means causeless transcendental knowledge, means of my relationship with Krishna, and also detachment from all material things. This is symptomatic of bhakti. But what is bhakti's nature? Anugatya, to be under guidance. And under guidance means to hear. Shravanam. So, dharmasvanushtita pangshan vishvakshena katasuya. If one does not develop attraction, rati, notpadayat jadi ratim. Rati means attraction or attachment to hearing the glories of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes through all of their endeavors in the path of bhakti, then it can be said that maybe something is wrong with our application of the process. We should develop attraction to hearing that katha. So we should always be testing our pulse. Am I developing attraction for hearing about the glories of Krishna and his devotees? Or do I have no attraction or no taste for that? It's funny because the pure devotee will feel I have no taste for that, and the aspiring devotee will think I either have taste or I really don't have taste. One is true and the other one is not true, but from the perspective of the pure devotee, they'll feel like I have no taste, wherein they actually do have taste. And from the perspective of the aspiring, hopeful devotee, we might think either I have taste or I'm just nothing. In that case, well, our Gurudev saw something in us, some potential. So we should never be hopeless. He would say, don't be hopeless. And chant and remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna. By hearing those pastimes again and again, and by being in the association of and serving those persons who have deep attachment and attraction to those pastimes, naturally, what will happen to our soul? It will begin to awaken to its nature, and its nature is to always hear the gossip of Krishna. Always. That is the cause for attraction. Hearing about the sweet pastimes of Krishna. So that is an integral part of bhakti. So before we do the kirtan and that, I just wanted to share with you about this book that they're trying to publish. So I'll just read you and then you can hear, and it might inspire a rati in your heart, an attraction to want to help, or maybe to inspire anyone else to help. They don't even have a title yet, but they're going to publish it soon. It will consist of an intro of sorts, an ashtakam by Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to his Gurudev, Radharaman Gosvāmī, an article by Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur on Guru Tattva, which is newly translated. An article by our Param Gurudev on Guru Puja, which is newly translated. An article by Srila Bhaman Goswami Mahārāja, which has been newly translated. An article by Gurudev from a Hindi lecture. Srivas has called it, Who is the Servant of Sri Guru? Newly translated. About 40 selected homages. They've combed through so many of the written ones and have come up with 37 by disciples of various Vaishnavas. And 17 are Gurudev disciples. So different offerings to Sri Guru from so many different Vaishnavas, showing how to offer and how to pray. And 17 are Gurudev's disciples. So they're fundraising for this Vyasa Puja book. And other books will also be coming soon if anyone is interested to donate. There will be a Braj Mandal coffee table book. So instead of looking at, Calvin and Hobbes, you can look at beautiful pictures of Braj Mandal and all of the things about Vrindavan. There's also going to be a quote book. I believe there's supposed to be a photo book coming out. They actually showed Gurudev a mock-up photo book in Govardhan in 2010. And I thought it would come out within like 3 months, but it still hasn't come out. And so maybe a few other books as well, depending on how things go. So I just wanted to share that with you. And there is a link for where funds can be sent. Their PayPal is GBP, that is for Gaudiya Vedanta Publishing, GBP at bhaktiprojects.org. So you know it's official. GBP at bhaktiprojects.org. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I'll post it. And then if you want to share with anyone, I'm hoping that we can somehow inspire so many to collect. They only are requesting $2,000. So on good days, when we're out on Parikrama, more than 2,000 people watch. Imagine only $1 each and boom, done. So it could happen. I just wanted to share that with all of you. Okay. Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Rama नाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरे हरे। I always look forward to when Sudevi's filming Thakurji also, because
you get to
to
see them
on
big.
the screen instead of just out the from behind my peripheral vision there. So it's always quite exciting to see them. It's like, wow, ever fresh.
I'm excited too.
So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. Also, we feel extreme indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Srila Gurudev, to travel the world and preach and to share on his behalf, inspire on his behalf. So we cannot repay you for that. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat pranam.
Ci vediamo domani.
Ci vediamo domani.
Radhe Radhe, dear
Radhe,
Vaishnavas.
Radhe, Hare Krishna, Radha Vinu Bihari Ju
Ki Jai.
Shachinandana Gaur Hari
Ki Jai.